之前，当芬兰宣告打算加入北约之后，俄罗斯再度调派军用卡车装载重武器开往边界，似乎想来一个下马威。但芬兰对付俄罗斯可能已是老手。拿芬兰跟乌克兰相比，1939年的芬兰可以说是2022年乌克兰抗俄的1.0版本。当年的抗战斗志对比现今乌克兰毫不逊色。不过，芬兰国土跟乌克兰有很大的差异。芬兰的边界虽然与俄罗斯长达1300多公里，但能通至芬兰的可用道路稀少，路况也相当的恶劣。绝大多数的地区不是未开垦的森林，就是沼泽地。而芬兰的心脏地带也相对离边界比较远，地理上更具隐秘性。在军事战略上，芬兰也绝非等闲之辈。
穿着迷彩服和整套装备认真练习打靶，完全没在当儿戏。俄罗斯侵略乌克兰，激发芬兰民众强烈的危机意识。
Because of the Ukrainian events, people wanna get prepared.
During those situations where the civilians need to use guns, it's better to have some kind of background, refresh before you have to use it in war situation. Every man and woman in any country should know at least how the gun works.
民众踊跃参加训练，积极备战。身为大国俄罗斯的邻居，两国边境长达1300多公里，芬兰从不敢掉以轻心。
Proximity of Russia and almost 1,000 miles of border between us and them dictated that we needed to be quite careful in our relationship with them and the West. Our army is quite strong for such a small nation. We are only 5.5 million people. Our army is considered to be quite capable. We're one of the last countries in Western Europe still doing the conscription, so we have huge reserve and some of us are quite active.
芬兰和俄罗斯接壤，两国军力悬殊。说到抵抗俄军入侵，芬兰人早有经验。
Peaceful Finland, that distant northern country of lakes and fjords, of sailing ships and summer bathing beaches, has been invaded and bombed. The long crisis of apparently futile negotiation with Moscow has ended in attack by overwhelming power. The reason for this? The Soviet, a nation of some 180 millions, has been threatened by the 4 millions in Finland.
不论人口上或军力上，芬兰都和苏联差了一大截。偏偏当年苏联声称受到威胁，用这种离谱的借口大军压境。俄罗斯总统普廷2022年入侵乌克兰的理由和1939年的苏联侵略芬兰几乎如出一辙。乌克兰的坚决抵抗也有芬兰在数十年前就示范过。
That was called the Winter War. It started when the Soviets invaded in late 1939. I'm sure Stalin thought his forces would be home for the new year. Instead, it stretched on into 1940. The population of Finland was less than 4 million people in the whole country. Stalin had to send in 500,000 troops to finish the invasion. In the negotiated settlement that ended the Winter War, Finland did have to cede about 10% of its territory to the Soviets, which is bad. But they stayed Finland. They kept their independence as a nation. They kept their sovereignty. They kept their way of government.
1940年的冬季战争，苏联只能算是惨胜芬兰，两国相安无事了几十年后，直到乌俄战争爆发，芬兰喊出要申请加入北约。
The difference between being a partner and being a member is very clear and will remain so. There's no other way to have security guarantees than under NATO's deterrence and common defense as guaranteed by NATO's Article 5. And we will have the discussions within the Finnish parliament upcoming weeks. But I think our process will be quite fast. It will happen in weeks, as I mentioned.
There are serious implications of Finland especially joining NATO. I mean, this means that the total land border between NATO territory and Russia would more than double. Right now, it's around 754 miles. If Finland joins, it will be nearly 1,600 miles. And so that's a significant change.
普丁当然不乐见北约扩张到自家门口，扬言对芬兰展开军事行动。网络上传出俄罗斯将重装武器运往芬兰边界，引发外界揣测，普丁是否打算开辟新战场，两面开战。芬兰总理敢说出想加入北约，不只是审慎适度，更是顺应民意要求。
Yeah, I used to be against joining NATO, but today I think it's a reasonable choice. I haven't completely made up my mind, but it's pretty positive against concerning NATO right now. Because of the current situation with Ukraine and how Russia seems more and more like you never know what Russia is going to do.
Yeah, definitely. I think Russia has shown their true faces, so I think we should join NATO.
In the days after Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February, support for NATO membership in Finland specifically surged into the majority for the first time. It reached 62% in a second survey conducted in mid-March by a public Finnish broadcaster.
乌俄战争开打，彻底改变芬兰人的想法，精神上力挺乌克兰，行动上积极备战，对抗俄国可能发动的威胁。
When we are thinking what kind of choices we should make, of course there are many risks, and we have to be prepared for all kind of actions from Russia. I also think that we have to make the decisions by ourselves, not to have fear influence our choices.
Since the Winter War in 1940, Finland has been getting ready for those kinds of threats from this country that invaded them before. And at least now is implicitly threatening that they might do it again. Finland is actually remarkably ready for those threats. In Finland, the country maintains secure stockpiles of at least a 6-month supply of all major food grains, things like oats and wheat. They also maintain a 6-month stockpile of all major fuel supplies. They require all pharmaceutical companies in Finland to keep secure stockpiles of several months' worth of all major imported drugs. Every building above a certain size in Finland is required to have a bomb shelter.
为了抵抗俄罗斯入侵，芬兰早有准备。芬兰首都赫尔辛基地底下别有洞天，有教堂，有商场，连游泳池和游乐场都有，宛如一座地下城市，替长期抗战未雨绸缪。
The military situation in Finland's neighboring areas is currently calm. Finland is not facing an immediate military threat.
芬兰有意愿参加结盟，北约也张开双手欢迎。传出最快有望6月定案，有民意支持和长期的备战准备，让芬兰有底气选边站。
乌俄开战超过1个月，有数百万名乌克兰人逃到其他国家。乌克兰铁路公司扮演着不可或缺的关键角色，不止护送平民到安全地带，也载回满满的人道救援物资。尽管目前俄军仍然无情地轰炸火车站、铁轨和桥梁，有23万多名的乌克兰铁路员工不畏战火，依旧坚守着岗位，日夜尽责维修铁路，守护乌克兰的交通命脉。至今所知，已经有将近100人殉职，无疑是战争下另类的战斗英雄。
天还没亮，乌克兰铁路驾驶已经就位，准备启程前往首都基辅。看似平凡的工作日常，在战争下别具意义。
Военные делают свою работу, железнодорожники делают свою работу. Ехать там, где сильно стреляют, но придется ехать, потому что там тоже люди, там женщины, дети, их надо вывозить.
开着救命列车，目睹战场残酷，一班又一班向前奔驰的火车，背负着乌克兰人民的希望。
Закрыта це светомаскировка, чтобы свет не был наружу. У нас же не новогодняя елка, у нас такое положение, что мы должны максимально потушить свет, чтобы наружу не выходил свет.
Піднімаємо голову в небо, ракета, ми сіли в машину і вона падає.
Це страшне, це дуже страшне.
亲切关心每一位乘客的状况，驾驶、列车长和乘务员各司其职，日夜载着恐惧不安的民众逃离战火，再满载人道救援物资回到乌克兰。
The train was already full in Zaporizhia. When we arrived in Dnipro, the platform was packed, so many people, and chaos started. Women, children, there were so many in the carriage, at least 100 to 150 people.
战争爆发初期，每天有20万名乌克兰人可以搭乘免费列车逃到乌克兰西部，老弱妇孺优先。在俄军猛烈炮火下，运送人员和物资根本是一场不可能的任务，全靠超过23万名乌克兰铁路员工留守当地工作，守护这个庞大铁路网。
How much damage has the network suffered?
Actually, they keep shelling the railway stations, tracks, and bridges daily, and daily we suffer from at least 1 station to 3 stations, but we keep repairing them and we keep running on the schedule. We lost 94 people from railwaymen and 99 are injured. That's really the highest price we paid for this war.
乌俄开战以来，天天都有铁轨、桥梁受损，俄军甚至直接轰炸火车站。乌克兰铁路员工冒着极大生命危险，也要尽快维修铁路，守住这条交通命脉，让坐火车出访基辅的英国首相强生都忍不住大力称赞。
I gather you're called the Iron people, men and women of iron, because that's the trade that the industry that you work in. But I think it also reflects the spirit that you're showing and the spirit of Ukraine in standing up to the appalling aggression.
The railway needs me for half a year, so I can't be called for conscription, which means they will not make me join the army. Once that time is up, I'll be drafted and will go to war.
Вот сегодня мне дочь звонила, говорит, я скучаю. И мы скучаем, но мы держимся. Она знает, что мы на работе, мы должны помочь. Я всегда говорю, Дотя, мы должны помочь людям. Они нуждаются в нашей помощи.
匆忙跟家人分离，就不断在各个车站间穿梭。这些背负使命的铁路英雄，战火还没停歇，就不会停下脚步，因为他们知道，只要火车还能跑，就能为无数乌克兰人带来一线希望。